Hi everyone, my name is Arnold. Welcome to my channel. Tonight I'm going to be channeling Ascended Master Saint Germain, the Ascended Masters, on weight gain, why we can't lose weight, food addiction, eating disorders, and body image. So if that resonates with you, then this video is for you. Before we begin, I just wanted to add that I am doing personalized readings now. There's two different types. One's an Ascended Master reading. So it's what Ascended Masters are working with you. They'll come through and they'll give you guidance and information on how they're going to be working with you and how to connect with them and help you to remove any blocks that are preventing you from becoming your highest self. And another reading is the past lifetime reading. So what they do for the past lifetime reading is they'll go into one of your past lifetimes. If you have like an ailment or an illness or something that's you keep creating in your reality, that's a limitation to you, that you see as a limitation, they'll bring through frequencies and show us a past lifetime and help to transmute that from fear back to love. So those are the two different types of readings. They're an hour and a half. I will put the information in the description below on how you can book one of those. So I'm going to get started. There's a lot of information with this body image, weight gain. So I want to kind of break it down in a few sections. So I'm going to go over it quickly. They're going to be bringing through frequencies for the sacral chakra, the third eye and crown. That's where they're saying that most of our blocks are resonating not resonating, but are vibrating for this like weight gain or food addiction. So the sacral chakra has programs of guilt and shame when we, maybe eat too much or eat foods that aren't good for us. And then you have your id, ego, and super ego in the crown chakra. And he's saying that there's some people like with an addiction, cravings, that are running the id is running the show. So it's like the id needs instant gratification. So when a baby cries, you feed it and it stops crying because it's functioning off the id. So that's one of the areas that we're going to balance today. So the id and the ego and the super ego. So the ego says, don't eat that food because it won't be good for you. And then the super ego says, go ahead and eat that food. Your body needs it. It'll make you feel happy. And then it's like this constant battle. So we're going to begin by writing on a piece of paper anything we believe is blocking us from losing weight or that's causing our food addiction. And also there might be hormones. So I'm going to put a list like up here on the screen of different like hormones or things in the body that might be causing you to gain weight or not be able to lose weight. And then you can muscle test. So I have 4 muscle testing videos in my how-to videos, and it shows you how to muscle test to see what parts of the body are causing the problem. So go watch those videos, come back, and you can muscle test. If you don't want to muscle test, or if it's not working or you just can't get the hang of it, write down a few of these words a day, the things that I'm talking about, like the id, ego, super ego. You hold it in your hand, and then when you listen to this meditation or this channeling that I'm going to be doing with the Ascended Masters, you'll be able to receive their frequencies and your physical body's consciousness because you've written down on a piece of paper what you want your body to balance for your highest good. Then your brain's going to say, okay, we're going to go balance this. As you listen to the frequencies that the Ascended Masters are bringing through with the channeling, it's not how they're giving it, it's how you're receiving it. And the reason we say to write it on a piece of paper is because every word and every letter has a vibrational frequency. And you also have a lot more belief system that your physical body can heal itself, simply because if you get cut, you don't sit there and say, oh my goodness, this paper cut's never going to heal. You automatically know that your body's going to go heal that paper cut or that cut from a knife or anything. You don't sit there and hyper focus on it and say, this is never going to heal. You already have the belief that your body can heal that. So you already have the belief that your physical body's consciousness is capable of healing your own body, everything in it. So when you bring in the Ascended Masters and their frequencies, it's not how they're giving the frequencies, it's how you're receiving it. And if you have more belief, so if you're connecting to your physical body's consciousness and asking your physical body's consciousness to receive these frequencies, it overrides the ego. And so the ego won't stop it from coming in. So this is why we say, write it on a piece of paper and tell your physical body's consciousness that you want it to heal the vibrational frequencies and balance it for your highest good of everything that you have written in your hand while you're listening to this channeling. The physical body's consciousness is consciousness. It will receive the Ascended Master's frequencies. It's going to override that ego. So today, for this session, because there's different layers and different reasons why people gain weight or have a hard time losing weight, and there's a lot of past lifetimes of, we had starvation and fear of starvation and obesity or the opposite of that, like we couldn't find enough food, so we're very thin, and so it's a safety issue. There's a lot of safety issues with the inner child not feeling safe. A lot of times people will eat and to comfort themselves, to feel more safe, or they'll reach for an addiction. They'll put on weight as a way to try to protect themselves. So if your inner child's not feeling safe, she's going to say, well, what can I do to make myself feel safe? And putting on weight is like, she sees it as like a wall of protection. So telling your inner child, we don't need that wall of protection anymore. You are safe. Get your inner child feeling safe. You can write down on a piece of paper anything that you believe is causing your food addiction or weight gain. So within a food addiction, you have your serotonin and your dopamine, and that, like, when the chemicals in the brain, and when you eat, it gives you this, every time you eat, you get satisfied, like, or smoke cigarettes or drink alcohol. It's like the same part of the brain. So these chemicals, dopamine and serotonin, you want to write them on a piece of paper. So here's serotonin, and I would hold it in my hand and I would tell my body, I want you to balance this for my highest good. Then I would listen to this channeling that's coming up, and the Ascended Masters, as they're bringing through the frequencies, my brain knows what to balance. So I also looked up a few other things. I wrote down lipoma because I have a fatty cyst. Adipose tissue, so that's fat tissue. So I'm like, I want my body to balance that for my highest good. So I've written down a few things for myself. But for you guys, if you muscle test and find out what is causing yours as well, then you can write it on a piece of paper. So I'll put like hormones and stuff up and above my head right here, so you can see the list and muscle test and go through, but also what any beliefs that come up or emotions, you can write those on a piece of paper. Write down the id, ego, and super ego, because we really want those working together and to stop craving these things. So you want the balance of the energies of the id, ego, and super ego to be harmonious.